welcome back. We have a review on the 28th of January. I'm just going to show you basically a rundown of the trades that I either took slash papered, starting with EU, get straight into it. So currently on EU, we are seeing a massive liquidity sweep. We're seeing the potential pullback here as well. The inducement's been swept and there's a daily order here. So when you go down the time frames, we've got the nice change of character and the break of structure. We've got this demand level, which could be an interaction, but obviously bear in mind we've got the equilibrium and some inducement into these two zones for buys with a 4-hour shift from either of them. So what we could see now is the pullback here. There is a counterplay that is valid. So we can look here at this shift of order flow and the potential reaction down into here. Either getting a 1 hourly or a 15-minute from the refined zone in the extreme to mitigate these areas of interest for high probable buys. So yeah, this is the rundown. I would like to see a shift up here on the lower time frame, down, drive to the equilibrium, and then we can do some buys. So next we have gold. So on the weekly, gold is looking like it's going to break its new high. It's had some sort of reaction so far. Let's have a look a bit lower. So this is for later, but we've had the reaction to the equilibrium of this most recent leg. This is a supply interaction point with an expectational order flow for it to break structure and create a new high. So that's what we'd like to see. When you look a bit lower on the 4-hour, it has shifted bearish, but this could be a trap. I'm thinking it is, because the order flow right now is the first sign of it changing. When you look on the daily, there we go. My computer's decided. There we go. So when you look on the daily, you can see that it has swept liquidity coming to premium. These highs have been swept, so it's obviously come from discount. There was a nice trade here, sweeping the liquidity. We've just had an order flow chain. What I'd like to see, a lot more high probable than a flip, is this demand to be interacted with and get some sort of shift from there, or some liquidity build up followed by like a nice aggressive play. However, what we're looking for now is this supply to flip, because we've had this break of structure and the shift of order flow. So we'd like to see this flip, go up, create a new high, come back in, and then we can get involved in a buy. So that's the other alternative to this play. So next we're going to look really briefly at the DXY right now. We've had all of this bullish momentum. On the weekly, you can see that it's entering premium, so there is a chance it can, from this range, there is a chance it could reverse. Obviously, looking at this being bearish and EU being bullish, it would make sense for it to have that bullish momentum. Right now, there is an opportunity that it could continue upwards. As you can see here, it would also make sense for this liquidity to be swept, comes into this demand zone, changes here, and just continues up. But what we'd like to see is this is an interaction point, and obviously this drive up, sweeping this liquidity, and then continue down, providing we have a nice 4-hour shift. So then we've got AU. So AU's doing a weird one. So it's broken the leg, it's broken a swing low, and it looks like it might be pulling back to the equilibrium. However, you have to be careful, because this could just be a continuation of order flow. But realistically, what we're looking for is a drive up to the equilibrium as an absolute minimum. So as you can see here, we've had a daily shift. So we've had the change of character and the break of structure, similar to EU. And we are looking at the DXY having that pullback. So we'd like to see this extreme daily wick get mitigated, because on AU we'd see a lot of extreme mitigations. So what this trade here was a really quick 1 to 2. I've been doing quite a few of these recently, where it literally just follows order flow. It's nothing more than just following order flow. Obviously we've had that break of structure, we've got the pullback, but I was just playing a really simple doji, and I actually was looking at it, and when it failed this zone, I would have took it out. So it was quite a low probable play. It was just a paper trade, no money on it, just to see what the 4-hour order flow would be like. So yeah, this kind of broke here, and the candle body closed outside, pulled back, gave you a chance to exit. And yeah, that would have been an exit play there. But what I was looking for was a drive up to this area, as you can see on the daily. We've got that daily supply, which would have been a nice area. But right now, we are looking at potential buys with a 4-hour shift from this extreme. I'd like to see as well some sort of wick liquidity, sweeping these lows, and then a nice 4-hour shift to the bulls. And if we don't, then we can just counter it and wait for the flip and get involved in a short where we can see fit. But right now, there is a bit of discrepancy and discretion within the market. Next, we've got GCAD. So when you look on the weekly on GCAD, it has swept the highs and swept the lows. It is technically now bearish. So this is the first sign of reversal. A lot of the pairs seem to be doing reversal signs quite high up in premium. And what you are looking for is it has broken this monthly area. We are heavily in premium. We have had a weekly shift in order flow, which is relatively big, especially up in premium. All the way up, it doesn't really matter. You're just looking at buys. Whereas here, you have to be careful because what we need to see is some extra commitment to the calls. So we are in premium right now on the daily and the weekly. We have all of this buy side liquidity. We have this order flow, order block on the supply, which has been efficiently mitigated. And this is the inefficiency down here with the supply block being mitigated. So what I'd like to see is a nice 4-hour shift. Right now, either we have this daily shift order flow and we can get involved in some shorts. Then we can also see this happen, but realistically, we have got a change of character here. But yeah, what realistically we'd like to see a 15-minute or an hourly shift from this area here, and if we don't and we see it flip, then we can just continue plays on the buys. So we basically just have to watch out for this point of interest just to see. We might get a reaction. It's safer to do a 1-hour shift than it is a 15, because we could get a 15-minute change of character from here and it continue up, especially where we are on the weekly. We've had this very heavily bullish candle and we are predicting a reversal essentially, so we do have to be careful with the levels of commitment we have across all time frames. So we do have the weekly and the daily is coming to premium, and we'd like to see the 4-hour shift. The 4 hours shifted with a very aggressive shift here, and what we could also see is this reaction just to this area here, and then we could get a continuation. So even if you were to play just this area and it react, come down or up, it doesn't matter as long as you can catch some of the play. So GCAD's a confusing one for this month. Next we have GU. So GU's looking heavily bullish across the weekly. We've had this interaction point. We've come highly down into discount. We've had that extreme mitigation of the refined daily wick, and then we've had a no shift of order flow yet. I managed to catch a 2R very quickly, but we are technically still bearish. So if there is a 4-hour shift here, it could mean there's a continuation, but very unlikely. I'm looking for anywhere past the equilibrium to get involved in some shorts once this area fails. So we would like to see this demand area fail, but alternatively, what we've seen right now is all of the order flow align. Technically on the weekly, this is stopping me from trading this zone, but obviously there was the very easy 1 to 2 there. All the flows shifted, so we've had the 4-hour shift. We still have this higher pricing, so it could come in, liquidate the 4-hour change of character, and then move off from here with an aggressive 15-minute. And also come here with a 15-minute or an hourly, sweeping this liquidity. But the thing you have to bear in mind is we've got this demand level still in place. So even though we've seen a 4-hour shift, the demand is still intact. So if we see that fail, we could take some short-term sells into these areas here, and also sort of down here as well. So when you look on the daily, This is the most recent daily order, and if order flow does react from here and continue down, we could see a potential short continuation from this level. So we are looking ideally at this breaking, shifting, coming back down the buys, and you'd have a very nice buy up to the equilibrium of the weekly leg. But right now it is reacting off of here. It's showing signs of continuations, and I'd like to see this level flip and potentially getting a short, but I would much rather wait for the pro order flow when it comes to GU. So then we've got GJ. So we are currently in a position there. So this is swept right down. We've had some bullish order flow. It's failed to break the high. However, we're playing within this range bound area now. So what we're looking for, it has come up to the equilibrium. However, we are looking still at buy potentials here up into this supply area. So I'm taking a nice quick 1 to 3 on the 50% of this area here, which we have this refined wick, which is kind of perfectly in line with it as well. So that was a valid trade for me. It's break even. It's targeting these highs for a potential continuation, so that would be a nice 3R. And then finally we have UJ. So I took a loss on UJ here. So we are currently still bullish with UJ. It has entered premium. We do have this daily area of interest, which we could trade shorts towards. So right now we could see a continuation here, as it has entered a level near the equilibrium. It's entered this demand. It's swept all of this liquidity on the 4 hour, and we could potentially go higher. However, following the 4 hour order flow down, we have this reaction, the sweep of liquidity. This is a valid setup. However, I took the loss inside the range, trying to play the high and the low of the range after this wick low and this other wick low. So there were 2 failures to break this level, which was an indication for me that it was sweeping the lows. However, this got swept further. Right now, we do have a low probability short area here because we are following the order flow down. However, from a high time frame perspective, it does look like a potential continuation with the reaction entering this area here, but we would like to see a bit more commitment for some shorts potentially. Sweeping all of this liquidity here. As we look at the 4 hour, there's a nice buy side liquidity. Come in, sweep all of this out, sweep the highs and the lows, have a shift from here, drive down with the pricing to the daily as well. So that is it for this week. Thank you very much.